I'm Representative Sarah Stevens, and I represent the 90th House District, which is Surrey County and a portion of Wilkes. For the past several years, I've been sort of asked to be the host of this event to present the awards for the North Carolina chapter of American Planning Association. I want to thank all these legislators who have come to be with us, and all of you elected officials from the various towns and cities who are with us today. As in the past years, we are assembled to recognize great places in North Carolina and the communities that sustain them. Successful and careful planning in the great places recognized today required thoughtful engagement from many stakeholders, including cultural and community advocates, business and economic interests, as well as private citizens and landowners. As a state legislature, I think I speak for all of us in saying that we appreciate how much work our local leaders and planners do every day to make these main streets and neighborhoods welcoming and wonderful places. The awards that will be presented today truly underscore that fact. A few years ago, and I think it was the first award given here, was my hometown of Mount Airy, and it was recognized by the Planning Association. It was a source of enormous pride for me and for all of the Mount Airy businesses, elected leaders, and citizens that were honored at that time. Again, I want to thank you for being here today and for all the work you do to make our towns and cities across the state great places to live. Representative Turner, you want to just come up and join us? And any other members of the legislature want to come up and about their towns is great. Again, thank all of you for being here and all the work you do for our towns and cities across the state, making them great places to live. And now I'm going to turn the program over to Jason Burdett, Planning Director for the town of Davidson. Mr. Burdett.
Thank you, Representative Stevens. Good morning. On behalf of the North Carolina chapter of the American Planning Association, I'd like to welcome you to the 2016 Great Places of North Carolina press event here in Raleigh on Town Hall Day. This year, we're pleased to be celebrating 5 years of the Great Places Initiative. This is one of our chapter's most highly visible programs. It began 5 years ago with the aim of recognizing outstanding planning efforts that facilitate the creation of great main streets, great public places, great neighborhoods, and ultimately great communities. These places are the result of dynamic and collaborative partnerships that bring together local and state governments with business leaders and citizens. We're pleased to join today with state legislators to recognize 6 great places in North Carolina and the communities that sustain them. This year, the Great Places Initiative chose to recognize great main streets, a great main street in the making, a great historic rehabilitation, and a great place for healthy living. It's imperative to recognize the importance of each of these elements as vital components to creating great places. We've found much greatness in this year's class of winners, from Waynesville to Matthews, to Statesville, to Rocky Mount, Greensboro, and Pitt County. Behind every great place is a story of North Carolinians working together to improve their community. We're pleased to join with legislators in celebrating these efforts and proud of the role that professional planners play in making these initiatives successful across our state. So with that, I'd like to introduce John Mork, President of the North Carolina chapter of the American Planning Association, to officially recognize representatives from each of the communities designated as 2016 Great Places in North Carolina. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. The event this morning has become one of my favorites of the year as we come together to celebrate the great places in North Carolina and the communities that sustain them. Many thanks to Representative Stevens and the legislators, local leaders, and state officials who have joined us this morning. The North Carolina chapter of the American Planning Association is an organization of 1,500 professional and citizen planners dedicated to preserving and creating great communities throughout North Carolina. And today we're here to recognize 6 great places from across the state. I'd like to take a minute to recognize the legislators who are with us this morning, Representative Susan Martin, Representative Rena Turner, Representative Joe Sam Queen, Representative Greg Murphy, Representative William Brawley, and Representative Jean Farmer Butterfield. Thanks to all for your attention. We know you're very busy with the legislature currently in session. And I'd also like to recognize the hardworking volunteers and staff who helped make this program possible. Our 2016 Great Places Project Manager, Jason Burdett, Co-Chair Kelly Bennett, the APA-NC Executive Committee, the expert panel members who put in long hours to review these nominations, and our chapter administrator, Bonnie Estes, and our chapter legislative liaison, Randolph Cloud. 2016 is an anniversary year for the program. We have now been celebrating great places in North Carolina for 5 years. It has been immensely popular, and I think we can now say that it has become an annual tradition. In fact, this program itself has won a national award. In 2015, the North Carolina chapter won the Karen B. Smith Award for Chapter Achievement from APA National. This year, we're showcasing great place in great main streets and great historic rehabilitations and a new category, great places for healthy living. This new category recognizes the connection between promoting healthy lifestyles and economically successful communities. Creating a successful main street or a great public place isn't something that occurs overnight. It takes time and commitment to develop a vision, build community support, and make things happen. We salute the collaborative efforts of the community leaders, local merchants, town planners, legislators, and many others who have worked to ensure that these main streets and rehabilitation projects are vibrant centers of commerce and community. And so on behalf of the North Carolina chapter of the American Planning Association, it's my pleasure to recognize our 2016 Great Places in North Carolina. These include Waynesville for Main Street, Statesville for Center and Broad Streets, Matthews for Trade and Matthews Station, and our Great Places in the Making winner, Rocky Mount for Main Street. In the People's Choice category, Greensboro for the Southeastern Building, and the Great Place for Healthy Living, Pitt County for the County Home Complex. A great Main Street in the Making is a street that is still being planned or developed, but has potential for great success. Rocky Mount's nomination highlighted the Douglas Block Plan, Streetscape Plan, and Downtown Master Plans as key to capturing the community's vision for Main Street and identifying appropriate implementation strategies. City staff forged many partnerships with a wide range of stakeholders to begin implementing the vision for Main Street. Over the past 14 years, the city has invested $50 million in revitalization projects in the vicinity of Main Street, coupled with $10 million in private funding. These efforts led the expert panel of judges to choose Rocky Mount's Main Street as this year's Great Main Street in the Making. Rocky Mount is the only community to receive this particular award this year. Now I'd like to recognize Charles Penny, City Manager of Rocky Mount.
Good morning. Thank you. I want to recognize Councilmember W.B. Bullock, who's with us this morning. But on behalf of Mayor David Combs and the members of the Rocky Mount City Council, we want to thank you for this recognition. Our City Council recognizes that downtown is very important to the life of a community. Downtown is the living room of your community. And every now and again, the living room falls into disrepair. So you have to do a makeover. So many years ago, our city council started on the effort of doing a makeover. We did have some help from Congressman G.K. Butterfield, getting a $5 million set aside. We were able to take that $5 million and add about $7 to it. And we spent about $12 million redoing the streetscape along Main Street. In addition to that, we were able to revitalize the old black business district known as the Douglas Block. 25,000 square feet of commercial space, 8 apartments. We also were able to build what we call our Imperial Center. It is our gym. It's a 130,000 square foot old tobacco processing plant. It was a $31 million effort with about $12 to $13 million in new market tax credits and historic tax credits. This is only the beginning. In order to grow a community, you have to grow a community from the inside out. You don't start on the outside and build to the center. You want your main street to be a vibrant place, and that will help to attract people to move to your community. Our city council has made a commitment to revitalize downtown. And right now, we're working on an effort to build a facility for youth and amateur sports that will be called the Event Center, the Downtown Community Facility. It's a $32 million project that will, in effect, infuse $264 million over a 10-year period of direct spend to our local economy. Downtown is economic development. Our mayor, members of the city council, and our community have recognized that fact. We appreciate you for recognizing the efforts that are underway, but certainly not complete. And we hope to be back a few years later for being recognized for all those other accomplishments that we're going to have. But we also recognize that private investment follows public investment. If you do not use public dollars to help seed development, you will not get private investment. Business people are not going to spend their money if they don't see the local government investing in their community. Thank you.